In the kitchen now with Angie Horkin from the Beef Council. Great to see you.
Good morning.
So we're doing a couple of different recipes. We're doing a soup recipe and later, well, I guess both of them are soups. One is kind of a stew soup.
And this one's pretty quick.
Oh, I like
30
that.
to 40 minutes, so easy weeknight meal. You come home on a Monday night and it's snowing out or cold out. I just love a nice quick soup.
Totally with you on that. And this is really different. This is one that you probably never heard of before, kind of like my chicken Alfredo soup. This is, if you like stir fries, I think you're going to be all about this soup. Tell us the name of it.
Well, it's called garlic ginger beef and noodle soup. It's a long name, but we use garlic and ginger as kind of the main flavors. It doesn't have many ingredients.
It's light too.
Seven ingredients. It is light. It's about 10 grams of fat per serving, and only 2 of those are saturated because we're going to use top sirloin steak. So as you get the soup going,
so
I'll slice steak. The whole 4 cups of beef broth.
Okay, go right into a simmering, get that simmering. Garlic goes in there?
Garlic goes in there, and then some fresh ginger.
Okay, I'll get to work on the fresh ginger. Tell everybody about that steak, the sirloin. It looks like it's a, inexpensive.
It is. It is. It's a middle of the road. It's not the super expensive, but it's still tender and it's lean. So it's one of the skinny 29. It has less total fat than a skinless chicken thigh per serving. So that's great to know, and it's lean per USDA standards.
Great protein.
And it's also tender. So I like buying sirloin in the summer for kebabs because it's lean, and I get it a little bit thicker, and it's easy on the grill. So for this recipe, you want a steak that does not need a long, slow cooking method, because we're going to put this soup together in 30 minutes.
And real thin strips. You want it to cook
real
quickly.
Thin strips too. And I like throwing my steak in the freezer if I have time.
Yeah.
For 30 minutes, because then it gets it nice. It starts to freeze, and you can get even thinner strips. Because we're just going to stir fry these strips. Take about 3 minutes.
All right. So into our beef stock, we had garlic and fresh ginger. And I'm just using my microplane. This is the way I do it. So it's going to be a really flavorful broth.
And then we're gonna add garlic and ginger to the steak also, to give it a little flavor. And if you want to do this ahead of time, up to 30 minutes, we're just doing this for flavor, because the sirloin we're not marinating it because it's tender. So just for flavor. So garlic, ginger, and then some sesame seed oil.
I love that.
A couple tablespoons. That's what's going to give it a real nice
Asian flavor. Yeah, I love that. And I just use, I think one of the easiest ways to deal with fresh ginger is I just peeled it. Kind of looks like this crazy contraption. You'll see it in the produce department. I just peel it and use a microplane. You can also just chop it up, but there's nothing like it. You can get it in a jar these days, and in a pinch, it really is good too. But boy, other than, it's way different from the dry ginger than we're used to. It smells amazing. The smell of ginger just makes
it adds a lot to the recipe.
Love that smell. Okay, stir fry.
So I've got the steak ready with the sesame oil.
Okay.
The ginger and the garlic, and the pan is nice and hot. So it's about a pound. It calls for a pound of sirloin. And usually when you go to the supermarket, your sirloin steaks are right at a pound. So you just need 1 steak for this whole soup.
Okay.
And then to our broth, while you're doing the steak, we're going to add rice sticks, rice noodles.
Those are a little different. I think people aren't used to those. Where'd you find them? What are they?
I found them right in the Asian foods aisle of the supermarket. And they're kind of fun. They only take about 10 minutes to soften. So they're perfect for this recipe, because we just need to simmer the broth 10 minutes. So I use 1/3 of the package.
They look kind of crazy, but it's fun to try some of these different Asian noodles.
They're really good. My kids love them.
Yeah. I was going to say, both my kids, Ireland and Riley, really love different kind of Asian noodles and Asian soups. It's very on trend right now, too.
So then I also have a bag of Japanese-style stir-fry vegetables.
Okay.
So we're going to put those in, and they're going to simmer with the noodles in the broth. So bring that up to a boil, simmer for 10 minutes.
This is easy. And a lot of great vegetables in there. Broccoli and red pepper.
It's really colorful soup.
Yeah.
And it looks really nice.
I know. And it's steak, pretty quick. I can already tell it's doing its thing here.
Oh, yeah.
Had a smoking hot pan, so.
Oh, that looks good.
Yeah.
And you don't want to crowd your steak. So you have it nice and spread out so it gets that golden caramelization on it instead of steaming it.
For people who say, oh, I had soup for dinner, this is a meal. I mean, this is like the whole thing going on here. You're seeing those Asian noodle places pop up more and more, and they're really fun. You can do some of that cooking at home. So at this point, the steak goes into our soup broth.
Yep,
It's already been
done.
Smells. Wow.
So you just want to add your steak right at the end, you know, about 5 minutes before you're going to have supper. Put it in the soup. It doesn't need to cook any longer because you've got it cooked sufficiently by stir frying it. So put that right at the end. Give it a good stir. And the soup's on.
This is fun. What a fun recipe. I just want to get every last bit of that beef. And this is, you know, I get questions all the time. How do you get your kids to eat a little more healthy? How do you get them to eat vegetables? Put vegetables in a soup like this where it's got a lot of great flavors that they already know, you know what I mean? And noodles. Oh man, Ange, that looks fantastic. Now you said warning, it's a little bit hard to serve.
It is. The noodles, I tried ladling it and the noodles fall out of the label.
Oh.
So a tongs works good to get the steak and the noodles and the veggies, and then you can ladle a scoop of broth right on top to serve.
Really healthy, you know? Like, I'm pretty excited about that.
You can even add some extra vegetables, a salad on the side, and you got a complete, very satisfying meal. So
Yum.
eating healthy does not have to be unsatisfying.
And you know what? This is one of those soups I can tell slurping the noodles is going to be A-okay, you know? Yum, that looks fantastic. Okay, how do you get the recipe? You can go to get it on our website, fox11online.com. Click on the Living tab and recipes, and it'll be right there. But the folks at the Beef Council are great. They understand a lot of us don't have computers, so you are there to, you'll send them out free?
We'll mail them free, and we're starting this month. Anybody that calls, we're going to put you in a database so you don't have to call every month.
Okay.
So I've got Alexis back at the office. So when you call this month, you'll be put in the database, and we'll mail you every month's recipes. So you won't need to call after this month.
Very cool. So
yeah, we'll make it a little bit easier.
And the number to call?
1-800-728-BEEF, which is 2333.
And just say you want the recipes from Living with Amy, that wonderful beef soup, and Angie's going to stick around and do a slow cooker pot roast soup. Yes. So it's kind of a mixture between a soup and a stew. I think they call them stoops, something like that. So stick around, lots more great soup recipes coming up.